In today's video, I'm actually going to be doing a Q&A. So this entire video, I think it might be in parts. It might be like part 1, part 2, part 3, because there are a lot of questions. I have my laptop right in front of me right here, and there's a lot of questions. So hopefully I'll be able to get into each one of them. But if not, then I will continue it in a part 2, part 3, however many parts I need to do to answer all of your questions, because I feel like you have a lot of good questions. So let's get started with just the first ones I see. I know YouTube kind of does it a little weird. Like, I don't get to see who like posted first. So I'm not going to probably be going in order. But I will try to get to every single person. So the first comment, we're just going to jump right in. Okay, so the first comment is from Mufasa5. Mufasa5. I love watching your videos and I'm totally okay with anything you put out. Much love, Home Skillet. Home Skillet. Just do you. Thank you so much for that. Thank you. And then the next comment comes from Samantha Mohanty. And it says, burning bay leaves is both inspiring and therapeutic for me. I totally agree, because if you guys hear that, I actually have like some spells going right behind the camera. You hear it? So yeah, don't mind that. I'm just gonna wait for that to burn down. I'm talking about burning bay leaves is both inspiring and therapeutic for me, and my affairs in general have improved since I started doing it. I learned about the impact of burning bay leaves from your channel and can't stop doing it. There are no questions for you, only gratitude. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so much, Samantha. Bay leaves have changed my life. Like, you know, sometimes you don't get the results as fast as you want, but that's because the universe is probably trying to teach you something, or you might have to work through something, a block, a trauma, you know, a belief that just doesn't help you move forward. So sometimes you just have to work through those things, but keep doing what you're doing. Keep burning the bay leaves, like, because it will help. It always helps. For me, in my experience, I only teach you guys anything and everything that helps me, and burning bay leaves has helped me so much. So I always advocate it, and I always say, like, hey, if you're struggling, if anything's going on, if you're stressed out, or even if you just want to be victorious and you just want luck, just burn some bay leaves. The next question comes from Pooja Singh Nikamb. Hey Sheetal, love from Indian. I would love to know about crystal shapes and their meanings. Do share a video if possible. I might do a whole video on it. I'm still trying to learn about like the shapes of crystals. Right now, my knowledge is so heavily based on like the type of crystals and colors and raw, tumbled shapes and stuff like that. So, okay, your question was, I would love to know about crystal shapes and their meanings. Okay. Crystal shapes. If you are struggling with your masculine energy, you want to get a crystal in the shape of like a phallus, like that looks kind of like a penis shaped, because that represents the masculine. And if you're struggling with it, or if you're trying to attract the masculine, then you would get a crystal, maybe a rose quartz in like the shape of the phallus. And if you are trying to connect more with your feminine energy, then you would pick a crystal that looks more flowery, more like a vagina, and so you would try to pick something that looks more like that. Maybe, you know, whatever that looks like to you, you would pick a crystal that represents that to you. So you would get a phallus shaped crystal, and then you would get a vagina shaped crystal. And then another thing you could do is you can get a heart shaped crystal. So say that you feel like you have a lot of things in your heart that you want to resolve and just heal. I would recommend that you get a heart-shaped obsidian, a heart-shaped onyx, a heart-shaped black crystal. And then I want you to get a heart-shaped rose quartz crystal, because these two crystals will balance each other out. I want you to sleep with these two underneath your pillow. So yeah, those are the things that I could say off the top of my head of like crystal shapes that I know of. But of course, you can see shapes in so many crystals. And the first thing that I see, because I work with Shiva so much, so I see the phallus a lot, especially when I come across crystals. So if I see one that really represents that and looks like that and like just catches my eye, I will get that crystal because it represents, even though I'm a female, I feel like I have a lot more masculine energy. And that's because I'm like, I'm very independent. And I think that's why. So for me, I connect so much with masculine, and I also have to remind myself to connect back with my feminine energy too, because we have to balance those things. So hopefully that answers your question, Pooja. The next question is, actually have been waiting for a Q&A session. That would be lovely. Thank you so much. Love all your videos. Thank you, Sunshine. So that's not a question, it's just a comment. I think a lot of these are comments, but I have not looked at them yet. I have not looked at all of them yet. I'm like looking here and I'm looking there. Okay, so the next question comes from Ankita Raksha. Hey Sheetal, so my question is, how do you connect your spirit, how do you contact your spirit guides, and how to identify a trickster spirit? Thank you. So trickster spirit to me would be, the only one that I really associate as a trickster spirit is Legba, Baba Legba. And that's not from the Indian culture, and I find it so sacred and I respect it so much. And Legba is one that is a trickster spirit for me. And how would you identify that? Okay, so I'm just gonna tell you my own thoughts and my own opinions. How to identify a trickster spirit is, they'll play with you. They'll play with you. And like they will teach you what you need to learn, and they will help you and they will guide you, but they will do it in cunning ways, or they will do it in ways where they test you. And we often associate that with trickster energy, but when we're being tested, it's not trickster energy. They're just pushing us to where we need to go, because when we are tested, we're gonna pass the test. Most likely we're gonna pass the test. It's just that we have to overcome some obstacles, heal some stuff, move forward, let things go, stuff like that. So I feel like I do understand why you guys say like trickster spirits. I do feel like there are like spirits out there that just want to play with you and mess with you and stuff like that. But for me, I just feel like every trickster spirit that I've ever encountered was just there to teach me something in whatever way that they needed to teach me. So if that answers your question, how do you contact your spirit guides? Well, for me, honestly, I truly believe they contact you. I've gotten so many of you guys clients, like so many of you guys have reached out to me and told me like, Santa, you're getting signs of owls. And a lot of you have told me that you guys see birds and butterflies and all of these things. And that's such a huge sign of Santa Muerte. It's such a huge sign of Lilith. Butterflies are a sign of like rebirth. Owls are a sign of Santa Muerte, and they're also a sign of Lakshmi. So like snakes are a sign of Shiva. So you really have to get to know the deity. So the more and more signs that you see, look it up, and see like which deities have those symbols around them the most. So I truly feel like they reach out to you. What do you guys think? I want to know your opinion. But of course you can also reach out to other deities. 100% you can. Research them, study them, see what they like, see what they don't like, see what their rules are, and how you can please them, how you can call out to them. So that's how I would give you that advice. The next question comes from Eclectic Witch Raven. I love that. I love your videos. Thank you for all the work you put in for this channel. What are your favorite herbs and crystals to use for empath? How do you say that word? Empath people. Anything you love to use to stay protected when you are around a lot of people? Thank you. This is a really good question, Eclectic Witch Raven. This is a really good question because I recently went to a wedding where, you know, there was some situations. I talked a whole story time about it over on Patreon. It was a very like embarrassing situation that I like now when I look at it, I can see why people reacted in the ways that they did, and probably even maybe I reacted in the way that I did. But there's a lot of things that I feel like the crystals helped me with. I was wearing clear quartz crystal. I was wearing all my bracelets. I was wearing, I was just wearing crystals everywhere. Like that's how, if I go to a function, I wear crystals around me all the time. So for me, I felt like that really, really protected me in that situation and in that environment, and also gave me the clarity of mind. It gave me like, you know, sometimes people try to manipulate you in a situation and you can get caught up into that manipulation. But for me, I feel like if I didn't wear my crystals, I would have gotten caught up into that manipulation. And so for me, I felt like my crystals saved me and they gave me the clarity that I needed. They protected me. So use crystals. Do you hear that? That's my fire going, burning. So use your crystals, and I would recommend clear quartz. I would recommend any black crystal like the one I'm wearing right here. It's clear quartz, not clear quartz, it's black tourmaline. You can use any black crystal. Labradorite is my favorite. I wear labradorite everywhere I go. I have it on right now. It's just the stone of magic. The next question comes from Amy McCracken. Hopefully I said your name right. Hi, Sheetal. What do I need to do in order to manifest a manager's job at work? I have inquired already. When you have low seniority. Thank you, much love. Good question. So what I would do is recommend that you burn bay leaves, and you burn bay leaves with the title of the job on the bottom, and then you write your full name and your birth date on the top, and then you burn it. Some other things you could do is you can actually make a whole honey jar to attract this position to you, to sweeten it up to you, to sweeten everybody up around you in that environment, to sweeten their thoughts up so that they think of you in this position and you can somehow attract it. So you can make a honey jar. And what you would use in a honey jar is, of course, honey. You could use cinnamon, catnip, valerian, patchouli, rose petals. Oh, excuse me. Okay, so everything that ever happens in a video, I always take it as synchronicity. So for me to burp, sorry, but I feel like also your throat chakra, you need to express, you need to speak over that honey jar. You need to speak over what it is that you want. Really speak it, like the title of the job, you having that job, like say it's like you want a registered nurse position, right? And you studied for it, you have your certification and all that stuff, you have your license, so you're gonna have to always want to speak that. I'm a registered nurse in this hospital, I'm so freaking happy, I love what I make, my hours are perfect, I'm blessed, I love my job. Really express that, like open your throat chakra when it comes to expressing what you truly want about your work, about your career. Because those things I feel like is very easy to manifest. It's just we need to know what we want and we need to speak it and express it. Yeah, hopefully that makes sense. So the next question comes from Tone1, and it says, love your videos and thank you for the bay leaves. Awesome. Okay, thank you. I feel like a lot of these are just comments. The next question comes from Malavika Biju. That's a really pretty name. Love your videos. Please do a video on black cat, what it symbolizes. A black cat kept following me when I visited a Buddhist temple. Would like to know if it means anything. Thanks for all the information you put out. Okay, so cats. Do you see this? I'm obsessed with cats. Whether they're black, white, calico, they're tuxedo, I don't care what they are. I love cats. I want to eventually adopt so many cats, and I want to eventually just cover my entire arm with the pictures of all my cats. Like that is my dream. That is what makes me happy. That's my passion. I love cats. If I could help them in any way, I always will. And so if I see a black cat specifically, for me, it represents like an energy of the dark feminine energy, which is what? Santa Muerte, Hecate, Medusa, Kali, who else? Did I say Santa Muerte? So it represents to me a very dark feminine energy that you could work with. I find cats to be very spiritual and very good luck and very insightful, very powerful, very majestic. I'm obsessed with them. I am truly obsessed with them. So I cannot say anything bad about them. I don't think it's anything bad luck, in my opinion. And, you guys are asking me my opinion on my channel, so I have to share it with you. If it means anything, good luck. It means good luck. If a black cat ever crossed my path, for me, it's one of the biggest blessings, because I feel like it's a blessing like from Kali or Santa or like, Hecate or whoever the dark goddesses that you work with. So yeah, hopefully that answered your question. And the next question comes from Jamarius. And I know who you are. Hi Sheetal, what is your favorite tea flavor you've been drinking and what brand is it? Funny, so I have some iced water right here, and what I do is I actually just put rose petals in my iced water. And then I just kind of push them in. I just put fresh herbs in my iced water. And then what is my favorite tea right now that I've been drinking? My favorite tea, I would say, probably would be lavender, just right now. Just because of the phase of life that I'm in, because I'm like very chaotic when it comes to my work. So I'm just like, I need to get this done, I need to get that done. Oh my God, like, I didn't do this reading yet. I didn't, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm very like that, and I want to try to calm that down. Because I also notice that when I get really, really stressed out, or if I get upset, or if I get angry, or if I get sad, I work. That is my escape, my work. Well, you guys, you guys. And so that's where I run to. And so I really needed to calm that down. So my favorite tea right now, I would say, is lavender and also chamomile. And you don't even have to like drink it hot. Like, I love just adding a few because I have it in my garden. These roses are from my garden. If you guys want more garden stuff, head over to my Patreon, okay? Hopefully, and Jamarius. So I don't use a specific brand. I kind of just use what's in my garden. I've been doing that a lot and I've really been loving it. But if I had to choose a brand, I don't even know. Lipton is my favorite brand of red tea because my grandpa used to drink it all the time. So it just reminds me of him. And so I think that's my favorite brand of tea. But when it comes to like tea in general, I like to just use something that I could pick from my own garden. Yeah, it's really fun, you guys. It's really, really fun. Okay, so the next question comes from, by the way, you guys, I also have a little drink right here. I love drinking white rum sometimes when I'm doing videos with you guys, especially unboxings and Q&As. I feel like it's a downtime video. I don't have to prep for it too much. I could just have a little drink and just answer your questions. So this might be like a 2-3 part series because there are so many questions. There's a lot of questions, but I want to get to all of them, so it might be like a few videos. But the next question comes from Renee Del Monte, and it says, you are very detailed. When I forget something or not sure about it, I find you to be one of my go-to, if you know or did it before, resource persons to look for. Okay. Thank you for being smart and so detailed information. Well, thank you so much for the comment. Thank you so much. That's really, really sweet. Again, I'm reading these for the first time, so I don't know if they're questions or comments. The next question comes from Virginia Mancada. Hopefully I said your name right. Hi, Sheetal. I found your channel when I was looking for ways to clear negative energy. Very good. In my home, and I loved it. To the point now I see a lot of spells. I love, by the way, when it comes, for examples, to love spells. How can we not mess with free will? Good question. I have a love situation where my relationship, I keep having issues, and sometimes I feel like doing some magic, but I feel like my partner's responsibility to fix himself. Oh, this is such a good question. This is such a good question, which I feel like if you want more information, listen. everybody does have free will, 100%. Yes, I agree with that. And I feel like it's not appropriate to mess with other people's free will. But, and you can find more information about this on Patreon because, you know, it's just a more intimate space for me to talk about things like this over there. But you can definitely poke and invoke and conjure and provoke communication out of a person if you need that. You know, answers or just, you know what, the only word that comes to my mind, communication. I feel like the situation here is that there's not enough communication, and so we try to work love spells and we try to make people bend to our will. We try to make people bend over, boy, like all these spells that we do, right? Submit to me, but even if they do, and then you still bicker and you still argue, that's not good. So we need to fix the issue there. You know, I feel like spells are really, really good, really beneficial to get the communication up and going, to get the compassion in that conversation up and going. But the conversation still needs to happen. Which, you know what I feel like? I don't know why I got this thought. It's like when women are having a baby and, you know, they want to take the epidural, or they're having a baby and they choose to do it at home, or they're having a baby and they choose to do it with a midwife, or they're having a baby and they choose to do it this way or that way or that way or that way. And people judge them, and then people like, you know, but for them to alleviate the pain and to make the process easier and better for them and the baby and everything, they take that decision. So I feel like that's kind of how I want to describe the situation is, you know, sometimes we use spells to alleviate the pain, when sometimes you will still feel a little bit of that pain, but the blessing that comes is so much more. It's new life. It's new life. And sometimes you have to have that conversation. Sometimes you have to have that separation. Sometimes you have to really stand your ground, you know? So sometimes those are the things that are needed more so than a spell, but spells will always help. To just kind of open the roads, open the doors, bring more compassion, bring more love, and get the situation moving and circulating faster than, you know, so it doesn't stay stagnant in that energy. Hopefully that makes sense. The next question is from Lulu22. What spells can I do for exams I've got coming up? Love your channel. Love from the UK. Ooh, from the UK. Okay, so exams. I've been kind of wanting to do like a spell or something for you guys for exams because I've gotten so many questions from you about tests and exams and studying and concentration and stuff like that. So this is Saraswati, and she is for that, for exams. If you resonate with her, you can work with her. And she loves white flowers, she loves rosemary. And another thing, you don't even have to work with her for this, but you can use rosemary. Burn rosemary, put rosemary in your candles, drink rosemary tea when you're studying, when you have an exam. Rosemary is very, very good for concentration, focus, meditation, but it's really, really good for that. Just put it on your hands right before you study, right before you have a test, right before you have an exam, right before you do a reading, right before you journal. She is of the mind, and she just helps everything kind of pour out naturally. So that's how I work with her. That's who I work with. Hopefully that helps. And then the next question comes from Magical Beauty 888. I love that. And it says, you look beautiful. Thank you for all you do. Oh, it's not a question. It's a comment. Thank you so much. I have not went through. Maybe next time I'm going to go through and just pick the questions because I have not read these. The next question comes from Honey Bear, and it says, hi, Sito. I have 2 questions. Okay. The first one is, what do you recommend you use to cleanse yourself and house if negative energy and black magic is present? So I have a few videos on my channel, and those are the things that I use myself whenever I feel negative energy. And here's the thing. Sometimes even I get stuck in that rut where like I can see the negative energy around me, and I'll do the spell and I'll be like, within like 4 or 5 hours, I'll be like, okay, nothing's changed. But that's because I practice so much that I expect to see a change like very, very fast. So you have to work your way up to that. You have to work your energy up to that level, and everybody can do it. You can do it, trust me. You just have to keep practicing and keep doing it. And you know, all the spells that I did on my channel, I have clove spells, I have red candle spells, I have a bunch, lemon cleansing spells. Do those, look at those, use those, because those are the things that helped me, and I only want to share what helped me. I only share what helped me. So the next question from Honey Bear is, second, can you upload a spell that enhances a friendship? Thank you and blessed be. Enhances a friendship? Roses. Pink roses, white roses, roses. I feel like roses enhance friendships. Like if you give gifts as roses, if you burn candles with both of your names on it, with pink roses or white roses. White is very healing and pink is friendship. Straight friendship, romance, but you can use it for each intention. So yeah, I would recommend pink roses. Like I get such a good feeling. Pink carnations, pink flowers, trust me, pink cosmos, pink flowers. The next question comes from, I don't know how many of these I'm going to be answering right now, but I will be doing a part 2 so I can get through the rest. Love your videos from Nels. Question, how do you make some people within a group of friends look for you to be sweeter and nicer to you? Oh, okay. So you want somebody from your group of friends to look at you nicer and sweeter. It's easy. You just make a honey jar. You put their name in it. If you're on my Patreon, I have the honey jar thing up there. You can go see it there. I don't feel comfortable enough to share a lot of those things here on YouTube just yet. If you're interested in those kind of things, head over to Patreon. It's a little bit more intimate there. I talk to you more a little bit one-on-one there. But yeah, you could do a honey jar. And there are a few other things you could do, but I really have to know your energy in order for me to tell you those things. Yeah, hopefully that answered your question. The next, this is like a few questions. So this comes from a person named Reading Therapy. And the first question is, what do you do with offerings to deities or spirits? How do you dispose of them? This is an interesting one because I feel like a lot of people have different ways of exposing of their, offerings. But I'll share with you mine. So for me, I will put it in the root of a tree, or I will throw it away. I'll leave it there until it's a little bit dry, and then I will throw it away. Or you can bury it in a potted plant in your garden, which is something I really, really love to do. I love to take my offerings and put it back into my garden. So it just provides nutrients for my garden. My garden sucks it up and just grows, and it just kind of recycles in itself. So that's one thing that I do too. And another thing, maybe not a lot of people agree with this, but this is something that I grew up with as well, and sometimes I do practice it still, is sometimes if you cut like a bunch of fruit, or if you buy a big cake, or if you like cook a big meal for your deities, you kind of just give them the whole thing or just a little bit of it first, and then you eat the rest. So that's what I practice. Actually, I practice that a lot, where I'll give them a little bit first before I even taste it, before I even put my saliva like on it, because that's like you're kind of touching it, because you want to give it to them clean. So I will give it to them clean first, and then we'll eat the rest. Like I give it to my family, and it just kind of becomes, in my eyes, it's kind of like ambrosia. It just becomes blessed and everything. It's very beautiful. So you could do that. The second question is, what is the difference between using left foot and right foot in shoe magic? Okay, so the right foot is always going to be your masculine. That's how you lead, you control, you initiate, you get things done. Okay, and then your left foot is to provide more compassion, to be nicer, to gain more compassion, for seductive magic, for come to me, for attraction, for, you know, stuff like that. So your left foot would be your feminine energy and your right foot would be your masculine energy. So when you really want to get something done or control or lead or something like that, right foot. But seductive magic, you know, persuasive magic, influential magic, you want to do in your left foot. Okay, hopefully that answered your question. The third question that Reading Therapy asked is, do you believe in tulpas? Tulpas? Okay, so I've never heard that phrase before. I do not know what it is, and I would love to know. If you can message me and tell me what that means, I might even look that up because I do not know what that means. Let me see if I can answer a few more questions, and then we're going to head out until part 2. So the next question comes from a very, very, very dear friend of mine, and her name is Christina. Hi, Sheetal. I love all your videos and ideas, but I do want to maintain a weight goal. What crystals, teas are good to help lose weight? Okay, so ever since I was little, this is funny. I don't know if it's true or not, okay? But everybody was always like, how are you so skinny all the time? And I truly feel like it was because my grandpa was like addicted to tea. And I learned it from him. He would drink tea, I wanted tea. And so we would share tea. He'd give me a little bit of, and he had like a big ass bowl of tea. Every time he came over, you have to make him like a big bowl of red tea. He loved red tea with sugar. And so I feel like I really picked that up from him. And I really feel like red tea helps me, like, for me, everybody's body is different. For me, it really, really helps me maintain my weight. Red tea, I love it. And specifically, it's Lipton red tea because that's what he loved. But I do make so many other teas, like from my own garden. If you guys are interested in that, head over to Patreon. Like I said, I make my own herbal teas and everything, but red tea would always be my go-to, and still today even, with some sugar in it. It just reminds me of him, and I feel like it helps me maintain my weight a lot. But that's just me. Everybody's body is different. Also, drink lots of water, okay? Lots of water. And you can even, like right here, I have iced water, but I just threw some rose petals in there. Throw some herbs in there from your own garden. Rosemary is really good for weight loss. Basil is really good for weight loss. Thyme, oregano, these things really help our bodies. Throw it in your iced water if you need to. Throw it in your tea. And another thing, crystals. I would recommend labradorite, rose quartz, amethyst, and hematite. These 4 crystals, I feel like any one of them are going to help you. If you have all 4 of them, they'll help you very, very good with weight loss, because labradorite will just kind of put your mind frame right. And then hematite helps your blood circulation, your body, your appetite, all of that stuff. Rose quartz helps you nurture that self-love that you really crave for you to lose that weight. And amethyst helps you get your mind right so that you can accomplish that goal that you want. So those are 4 crystals that I would recommend. So I think that's where I'm going to cut it off right now. Thank you guys so much for your questions. I'm going to do a part 2 and try to get through the rest of the questions. There's so many, and I really, really enjoy this. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you very, very soon.